Compassion without compromise is a value that I hold true because I believe compassion is something that many people lack. I think many talk about empathy, and yes, empathy is amazing, but deeper than that, I want compassion. I don't want empathy, I want compassion. But I don't want you to compromise who you are in the process.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Today I'm here hoping to be able to interview Joey Wilder. He is the creator, inventor, founder, you name it.
We have Joey Wilder, first time coming on the show.
But at that moment, I had a choice to make. I either hit this while it's hot, while people are hyped up about it, or kind of let it simmer out. And I've been told by many great mentors that it's all about the timing of things.
Happy Friday. Truly. I mean that. When I say like happy Friday or like anything like that, that is a like positive anecdote. It's not just fluff. It's not just filling space. I am genuinely sharing that with you. Because I think commonly when we get so caught up in the mundaneness and feeling like, you know, life is just ebbing and flowing. We're doing the same things every single day. Guys, there's nothing wrong with that. I'll start by saying that. There's nothing wrong with the consistency and mundaneness of what some may call normalcy. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, sometimes I've seen men and women, whether they're in a relationship, whether they're going through heartbreak, whether they're going through rock bottom. Last week we did reinventing rock bottom, and I love that you guys got so much from that because I've lived that. And I'm speaking, I know I'm preaching to the choir when I say that. Any training I share with you guys is something I have personally used and has been tried and proven with many others. And a lot of the guys that are on here with me are aware of that. But when I've been taking this moment to pause and you reflect at the end of the week, guys, when it comes to stepping back into, whether you're stepping back into dating, you're stepping back into a higher level career, maybe you're healing a part of yourself that has been scorned and stained and tarnished, regardless on where you're at, recognizing that there is more is the key indicator that you need to accept when you're going through these moments of maybe right now you feel like where you're at isn't where you want to be. To bring that full circle, that mundaneness, when we're feeling that, whether we're not in a good place. And guys, how many times have we been in a really great place, but things just feel monotonous and mundane? Every day feels the same. There's this book called The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. Now, he wrote this like back in, I want to say, the 1700s. So it was a earlier time, but the dialect in this is so far ahead. And in it, it translates to when every day feels like it's the same as the next, we forget the beauty and blessing in every day that the sun rises again. When every day feels as if it's the same as the next, we forget the beauty in every day that the sun rises again. Such a powerful statement. But there's so much truth in that. So much truth. Because so commonly we get caught up in the monotonous and the mundane. Sometimes we get clouded in our judgment, in our cadence. We get stalled in our vision when life throws us a huge curveball. Now, I'm not here to polarize pain. However, guys, pain sucks. Inflection points don't feel good, and I'm putting that lightly. When something changes the reality that we're in, regardless of the vertical, whether that is in a familial dynamic, a career dynamic, a finance dynamic, an injury, it changes the grid of life that we are in. It changes things, right? Our day-to-day changes. Our routines change. Like, guys, I'm going through an injury right now because I told you, Josh is aware of the whole story. Guys, I real time am having to reassess some of my best friends around me, some of the closest to me that have been around me for over a decade, right now, real time today. And so I'm reassessing and taking a grid of the people around me because I can take responsibility and ownership on my part and only my part. And I can use vernacular to call someone forward. And guys, I'm going to share all of this with you as I'm going through it because I'm holding myself to a higher standard. And I've shared the messages, like screenshots, with Josh. And he's like, man, you are such a patient person. And you are showing them so much compassion, but also very assertive leadership. And I wanted to share it with him because I wanted him to objectively, like, yo, tell me if I'm being a dick here. Because I have a tendency of doing that. But guys, anytime we feel like things are monotonous and mundane and days feel the same and maybe you shake it up a little bit, guys, I do that. It's usually due to us not taking a grid of things around us. And guys, I'm super introspective. However, in my life, how do I want to say this? In this phase of my life, I am very selective on the individuals that I choose to have around me. Now, I've let things that I've experienced and that I've learned have led me to have a small, intimate circle. And I'll also add, most of the people that I am closest with live hundreds, if not thousands of miles away. That's just the truth. But the beauty of the internet is we're able to stay connected, but you still have to and get to have some type of localized community. And what I'm experiencing is a part of my localized community. These are people that are very near and dear to my heart. And it's because of that I give them grace, compassion, without compromising my truths. And what that sounds like is your feelings are valid for you. I can validate them. However, it does not approve the treatment. And her response was, you are absolutely correct. You are completely valid. And man, a previous version of me, guys, would have been like, yo, fuck how you feel. This is about me. Like, I'm the one that helped you and got hurt and went to the hospital. This is a true story. I'll tell you guys the story another time. I'm fine. But in that, guys, when we meet others with compassion, we are standing for ourselves. The title of today's training is called Give Compassion Without Compromise. Now, it's going to be 3 hard truths that we need to accept as men. Because, guys, let's just be honest. Life is hard for men. Life is hard for men. Anyone that wants to challenge that hears this, that is not on this call, and you believe that life is more challenging on the inverse, I would love to have an open, healthy conversation recorded. And I would love to hear your points with an ethical, appropriate conversation. However, here's mine. Life is fundamentally more challenging for men. Life is statistically more challenging for men. Life is psychoanalytically more challenging for men. There's all data that backs this. The society that we live in, the world that we live in, men carry many proverbial burdens. And if that connects with you, I'm speaking to the men out there that maybe you just feel tired. Maybe you're crushing it in areas and you keep showing up and day in and day out, but you just feel like you're taking these fucking proverbial right hooks of life. And guys, I get it. Maybe you feel like you keep getting these flats on the car that you're driving through this road of your life. Maybe you feel like you keep hitting these stalling points while you're in the race trying to get to the finish line being like nirvana, that vision you have for your life. Or maybe life is just so fucking challenging right now that you're just trying to get through the now that you're in. And if any of those are you, or maybe you're a guy like, man, life's going well and you sound like you have some things to say. I appreciate you being here, guys. But step one that you need to accept as a man in this world is step one when it comes to compassion, giving compassion without compromising you as a man, is you need to accept this. Number one is everything you're going to care about is going to be difficult. Everything you're going to care about is going to be difficult. It's going to have some level of difficulty. Now, does that mean that we come through that grid? No, but accepting that every single thing that you care about, your job, your finances, your kids, your career, the person you love, your friends, everything is going to have a level of difficulty. That doesn't mean that life is difficult. That means that you need to accept in your grid of life, your ecosystem, the lens that you view life through, like how you view things, you need to have a part of that ethos that everything you're going to care about is going to have a level of difficulty. You need to get used to it. The notion that the world owes you favors and owes you something and you deserve something from the universe and from others, guys, that is fundamentally wrong. You're doing things with expectations. That's why you are ending up getting hurt, because you're doing something, expecting something. Reciprocity is a real thing. However, not everyone has your heart. Not everyone has gone through the experiences that you have. How can we expect them to meet us with the same thing, even if they have in the past? Because you can always correct, and you can always have boundaries in place and have open dialogue. But guys, just recognize that, one, you get more bees with honey. And two, you get to pick your battles, choose them wisely. Some aren't even worth fighting. But everything you're going to care about is going to have a level of difficulty. You need to get used to it. You need to. The sooner I accepted this in my life, man, the world felt brighter, right? My load felt lighter. I felt like I could breathe again. Because men carry these proverbial burdens, and I can see right through it. I can see the man. I can see it in his eyes when he's there. He's at that intersection and asking himself all of the questions. How did I get here? When was my life good? Where am I now? And how do I get back there? I've been there. I wasn't accepting of how hard things were. And this is not because I did not have a hard life, and I'm not here to get into that. Men are hard, get hard. Someone's going to take that and clip it, I hope, and make a funny meme. But guys, accepting that there's going to be a level of difficulty will free you from the mental, metaphorical prison you place yourself in. It's time to wake up and free yourself. You are the one that not only shackled yourself, but you also hold the key. You guys ever realize that? Like, a lot of the places we end up in, like, kind of play a role. Some of it, most of the guys, I have data on everything. Vast majority, I'm not going to share the data because I don't want other people to use this data. But I'll tell you this, a vast majority of the men I've worked with and the men that I've worked with through different companies under this type of offer, it's usually been the man that was the inflection point. And it's not to say that the man is the problem. That's not what I'm saying. If anyone takes that and runs with it, I'll send a bag of dicks to your house, like literally from that website. I literally will. I'm going to start trolling people on a big level soon because people are ripping me off online. All these things. I'm coming for people. I'm going to get that ass metaphorically. But guys, the sooner you choose to accept that these proverbial prisons that you're putting yourself in, it's unnecessary. Take the key out of your back pocket or wherever you hid it and release yourself from the shackles and accept that things are going to be hard at times. Get used to it. Your grid and your baseline of hard, we need to raise that. Truly. Like, life isn't going to be easy. It's not. It will have more ebb and flow and more elegance and grace. Yes. But if you do not do the work to get there, if you don't get through the muck and the stickiness that you're in, you are not deserving to make it there. Josh fucking threw me off in the chat. Oh man, I can't repeat that. I can't. It'll get my YouTube will get deleted if I say that. Man, I don't even remember what I was saying now, because now my mind is in a million different directions. Man, I'm just gonna move on to number 2. The notion that life is easy is fundamentally flawed. I remember where I was. Guys, I used to believe that life was meant to be easy, and that like the more successful I got and like the more connections I had, the more I knew how to do things. And I was like, oh, the older I got, the easier it'll get. When I was younger, I used to believe that people that were in their late 30s, 40s, 50s were like adults. Like they had everything figured out. And now I'm like, man, my grandpa's almost 100. I'm like, Grandpa, do you have things figured out? And he's like, I'm still figuring it out. And he's retired, and life always continues on. You either move with it or you struggle to catch up. That's the easiest analogy to view it. I meet people that are struggling to catch up all the time. I'm like, dude, why are you in a foot race right now? Why don't you get on the train? If you feel like you're in a foot race of life, pause. Because here's the thing. Communication is a universal framework. Communication is a universal framework. We use communication to speak with others. We use communication to get by in the workplace environment. Most of us use communication in our jobs in a high way. I do. My communication is the biggest thing that is leveraged for me. How I communicate is what enables others to come to me. How I communicate in my relationship is what leads in the direction that I either want it to or do not want it to. And this leads me to number 2 of coming from a place of giving compassion without compromising. What made other men respect you will not enable a valuable woman to respect you. You need to learn to speak inverse language. Your vernacular needs to change. Now, what does that sound like? I can go to any of my guy friends at any time, and some I will be more delicate with depending on the context. But I can go to my guy friends and I can be like, yo, Mark, bro, what the fuck are you doing right now? Like, you're doing some wild things, bro. Like, dude, what's happening? Talk to me. Versus if I go to a woman, yo, bitch, what's going on? Like, what are you doing, girl? You're fucking up right now. She's probably going to go off on me. And guys, I'm saying that like I would never refer to a woman as a bitch because I know someone in the comments is going to come at me and then I'm going to have to hurt your feelings by trolling you when, let's just not go there. But guys, you cannot speak to a woman in the same way you speak to a man if you're desiring respect and conscious cadence. You need to learn to speak the right vernacular. Just like a woman would not speak to a man in the same way she talks to her girlfriends. I was about to do an impression, but I'm not going to go there. The sooner you choose to recognize that communication is a universal law, you'll start speaking to yourself with more grace. You'll start speaking to yourself like someone you love. You'll start holding yourself to a higher standard. Guys, words are prolific and words have power. I'm going to continue to harp on this. Guys, I don't know if you've recognized this, but I'm very conscientious of the words that I say out loud, even more so in the last year. I've recognized in the past how I've said negative things out loud, like not horrible things, but those negative things, when you give them power, guys, in the text, there's a reason why Jesus spoke and demons could not, and why demons need to oppress and possess someone to get them to speak words. I am depressed. I am not enough. I am unlovable. All of those things are not you. And when we're conscious on our communication, to bring that back full circle, we're conscious of how we speak to ourselves. Because if you're constantly demonizing yourself and you're constantly, like I shared last week on the last call, when you look in the mirror, what's the first thing you think? Guys, I love myself. I love my body. I love the work I'm doing on myself. I recognize that I have so much work to do. And I had an honest conversation with myself just the other day. And that's where a lot of the coattail and the stream of thought and the conversations that I chose to have. You know, I've been radically transparent with my friends that I love dearly. And I love them enough to be honest, but also not be a dick, because I don't want to hurt them. But I do want to correct them. And this is not it's not an ultimatum. It's a conversation. Guys, when you are conscious with your dialogue and recognizing that communication is a universal law, and it starts with yourself, the way we talk to ourselves is the way we are going to speak to others. I speak to myself with kindness, compassion, and grace. However, don't get it fucked up. I still am who I am. I will be assertive in my dialogue and have healthy boundaries if I need to. And if it goes in that too south place and proverbial javelins are thrown, I will not play the game any longer. There was a part of me in the past that, guys, I love to go tit for tat. I love it. I'm good at it. I always win. And I hate that. How many people are like, yeah, fuck, I always win too, bro. Let's go. Let's go. I'll hurt you. Yeah, I know, Mark, I love you, dude. Like, I would never want to do that with someone I love. Why do we do that with people that we love? It's crazy. And it's like, I didn't have an experience like this recently, but I'm not going to say I can't wait to, because that's not something that I want to do. But guys, if that's ever happening, like with your friends, with people you love, with your partner, with family, pause, like literally pause and be like, what are we doing? I love you. We don't talk to each other this way. Guys, it is okay to let others, starting with yourself, know, hey, we don't talk to people that we love and care about this way. This isn't appropriate. This isn't okay. We're better than this. When we have that positive frame and you have that vernacular, you call yourself forward. And that's the frame that I had with my friends. And I said, hey, friends don't speak to each other this way. And friends operate in this way. I want to resolve this, and I'm trying to figure out what a solution is from here. This is how I feel. But I cannot be spoken to this way. Guys, you can set that frame. And the sooner you recognize that communication, it doesn't matter how much work you do on communication, it always continues on. It is always a work in progress and always under construction. The moment you feel like you are done, you have lost. That is not to say that you need to always be reading the books and doing all that. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is get plugged in. If you haven't done some work on like your communication and anything to work on you, and I'm not saying read a book, that's great. That's cool. Cool story. It's missing a beginning, middle, and an end. Do some work. Guys, I have this, guys in the community, I'm going to send this to you guys, but anyone listening to this, there's this communication workshop that I've put together. And guys, it is hands down some of the juiciest modalities. All of the guys in my community, you guys already have this, and a couple new things that I've been giving you the last few weeks. You guys, when you are conscious of your communication and the way you speak, you get what you're speaking back towards you. Because you speak these things into existence by using the right words and being crystal clear and giving others clarity. Because the thing with communication is miscommunication. 82% of relationships end due to miscommunication. Do you guys know that 53% of friendships end due to miscommunication and disagreements? This is actual data. It's crazy. And it's like usually miscommunication goes back to like some type of word that someone said and they didn't mean it that way. How many times has that happened? Think about it. Like, oh, someone tells you, no, I meant it this way. I didn't mean it this way when I said it. But we're too prideful to say something, or we're too angry to see past the proverbial goggles that led us there. But guys, the information for it will be in the description of this episode. But everyone in my community, y'all already have it. Dude, it's so great. I'm excited to get this out. But guys, the third one here is I meet so many men and women that don't recognize this universal law of compound effect. Guys, compound effect is by circumstance and causation. The compound effect of life is tied to one thing: decisions. Decisions. You want to give more compassion without compromising your truth? Recognize the compound effect of those decisions. And what does that look like? There are hidden transactions in every decision that you make. Get good at recognizing them. Now, guys, you've seen dominoes, right? I used to love dominoes when I was a kid. Like, not the game dominoes, like setting them up and knocking them down. I've played dominoes a couple times. I'm going to be honest, because I feel like Mark knows this game, right? You probably know how to play dominoes. Yeah, of course. I feel like if I was to go to like a pool hall or like a poker tournament, like Mark would be at the Baccarat table for sure, but he'd have some like rose-colored glasses. It'd be a completely different iteration of Mark. I don't know why. After seeing him with the thing at I got it. I thought it was a gun. I was questioning if I could say that or not. But after seeing you with that man, he is a man that is prepared, that knows the knowingness of things. So I know that if we were to go somewhere, that would be a fun time with Mark. But guys, when we're conscious of those decisions that we make and recognizing those hidden transactions, we can take a moment to pause and see that when we play dominoes, when you knock a domino down, they continue on. That domino effect is the compound effect of a decision that started with knocking one down. When you choose to knock a metaphorical thing down in your life via decision, whether it's having that crucial conversation, setting that boundary, closing that loop, separating from that person, leaving that job, starting that new job, there are hidden transactions in every decision that we make. Every single one. Good, less good. I don't even want to say the word bad. I'm being so conscious of my dialogue right now. Guys, compassion without compromise means that you are coming from a place of not only love for others, but also fortitude. It's fortitude in a sense of, man, I don't want to take this like a biblical route because this is not a faith-based program. I am a faith-based man. However, I do not impede that nor impression that on anyone that is in another belief, and I fully respect that. And I would love to learn. If you have a belief or disagree with something I've said, please share with me. Send me a message. Like, I would love to talk and hear. Because, guys, I am very intrigued by everything out there. I love to learn. It is a core value of mine. But all of that to say, the sooner that we choose to recognize that these decisions that come, or the decisions we make, come with hidden transactions, we can see that, guys, if decisions create hidden compounds effects of transactions, we have control of the direction that our life goes. The direction that your life is heading is a decision that you get to make. Yes, it may be a circumstance or causation from something uncontrolled by you. However, you always have a decision where you go from here. If you feel like you're in a place where, man, I don't like this, I need something to change, make a decision today. It doesn't mean you need to like make a concrete decision. All right, Joey said make a decision. I'm leaving the country later. Like, don't say I said that. Like, don't put that on me, bro. Like, if you message me and you give me like your options and I am like, if it were me, this is what I would do hypothetically. That's probably how I'll answer, because I'm not about to dox myself. But guys, your life is not by causation. Where you're at is by circumstance that may be tied to something that you cannot control. I recognize that. Guys, I've fought battles that felt like I was David against the greatest Goliath. And the plot twist in my story is I won in a paradoxical way. Sometimes winning does not look the way that we maybe forethought in our mind. And that just tells me that we have these preconceived expectations. I have made a conscious effort to, moving forward, not preconceive expectations of others. I'm doing a lot of internal mental work right now, and I'm working with someone right now on this. It's a psychologist that I got connected to here. And in that, I'm reprogramming a lot of these subconscious stories I tell myself. Like, some of the things that are more, I don't want to say dark, but more of the contrasts of what I've experienced, you know? And it's nothing that affects my ability to connect or live life. And that's part of the problem. Is these stories impression so much that they've boded me well. And so your action from this, when you sit with what it means for you to give compassion without compromising your truths, what does compassion mean to you in the first place? What does compassion truly mean to you? What does it mean to be a compassionate man? What does it mean to be a compassionate man without compromising his truths? Because in order to give compassion without compromise, you need to recognize what that means to you. Not what it means to me. Because guys, in order to thrive in life, in order to thrive in a marriage, in order to thrive as a father, in order to thrive in a profession, there needs to be a level of compassion for others, but also starting with yourself. Because, guys, men carry enough burdens in the world. We're the provider, we're the protectors. Now we're meant to have feelings too. We've always had feelings. But on top of it all, we fight dogmas against demons, metaphorical demons that most do not see. And I pray that most do not ever end up on the other side of. And that is my mission. Because to give compassion without compromising my truths means that I abide by these three fundamental needle movers. I see these as hard truths. And guys, just to just to share the key takeaway. Sorry, my words got away from me. Just to kind of preface it and close out is number one, everything you're going to care about is going to get difficult and is going to have a level of difficulty. Get used to it. That doesn't mean that life is difficult. That means that everything that you care about is going to have difficulty in it. Some things will be easier, but guys, anything you care about that is worth having has a level of difficulty. It does not mean your life is meant to be difficult nor challenging, brother. It is not. Trust me, it gets easier from here, but it won't if you don't keep going. And if you don't accept that this level of difficulty, it's a growing pain. And you will always be in progress and always under construction towards becoming that man that you desire to be. Guys, there is no finish line. I'm not at a finish line. I just shared with you guys I'm working with someone. Guys, I don't stop. Not in a neurotic way, but in a way of I don't want to be perfect, but I recognize when I'm wrong, and I recognize when there's things that reveal the need for hands larger than my own. And I choose to accept that. I am not perfect. I win because I choose to learn. My wisdom is only healed pain. So recognize everything is going to have a level of difficulty. What made other men respect you will not enable a valuable woman to respect you. You need to learn to speak inverse languages. Guys, communication is a universal tool. It is used everywhere. And guys, if you have not done anything to work on your communication, a lot of the guys I work with, we are consistently talking about these things. Like whether it's in our channel, like one-to-one, any of those things, the communication workshop is hands down the best thing since sliced bread. It's incredible. And you guys that are listening to this on the group call, you guys already have it. I'm dropping it later this week and I'll send it to you guys. It's amazing. But anyone listening to this, the information is in the details, or it's workshop.joeywilder.com/relationship communication. And number 3, guys, there's hidden transactions in every single decision. Get good at recognizing the compound effect of the decisions, not the causation and situation. Because you have a decision. If where you're at right now is not where you desire to be, if you look at your bank account and you don't like what you see, if you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, that's okay, I get it. If you are waking up next to someone that feels like a stranger, or maybe you wish you were, maybe you're wanting to step back out into the dating world, regardless on where you're at, guys, recognizing that you have a choice, make one. And if you're stuck in indecision, reach out, let's chat, let's connect. Guys, I am a conduit for men becoming better men. That's just the fundamental truth. I believe that when men get connected consistently, they get better. They talk about the things that no one else will talk about. Guys, compassion without compromise is a value that I hold true because I believe compassion is something that many people lack. I think many talk about empathy, and yes, empathy is amazing, but deeper than that, I want compassion. I don't want empathy, I want compassion, but I don't want you to compromise who you are in the process.